Hi, Chandler Crouch here. I'm going to explain the difference between market value and appraised value as defined by the Tarrant County Appraisal District. And that's the most important part of this whole video, is that you know the Tarrant County Appraisal District is making up this definition. So first, what I'm going to do is I am going to share my screen like this. All right, here we go. First, go to tad.org, then put the property address in here. Next, you're going to click this account number here. On the next page, this is the account number 2, by the way, but just go ahead and scroll down to the bottom here. Now, let's talk about homestead exemptions for a second. The only reason why we have these two different terms, appraised value and market value, is because of exemptions. Now, the homestead exemption, one of the benefits, I'm going to explain this for a second, then we're going to get back to those terms, but the benefit of a homestead exemption, one benefit is that it caps the taxable value. It puts a cap on the taxable value so that you cannot get taxed on more than a 10% gain per year, okay? So you can't get taxed on more than 10% increase per year. I'll show you the math, and it'll probably make a little bit more sense. And don't worry, if you are not a math person, I think you'll be able to get the hang of this, even if you don't follow along with the math side of it. But here we go. Scroll up just a little bit, and we're going to camp out here right on this chart. Now you'll see total appraised and total market value. Now, the problem is the definition that the appraisal district assigned to these things. Total market value, it's pretty self-explanatory. This is the value that they think the house would actually sell for on the open market. So in other words, this is what they think your house is actually worth. Now, the total appraised value, this is just a very poorly chosen term. They should have chosen a different term. Homestead capped value would make more sense. Taxable homestead value would make sense. I like homestead capped value. That perfectly describes what this is. Now, so this is what they would tax you on if they could. If you didn't have any exemptions filed, this is exactly what you would get taxed on right here. And by the way, if you didn't have any exemptions, these numbers, the market value and the appraised value, the appraised value and the market value would be equal every single year. The only reason why you're seeing a difference there is because I'm receiving some protection here by this homestead exemption. And what it means is I'm not getting taxed on this full value. I'm getting taxed on this number. All right, so let's just go through this. I'm going to pull up a calculator. I'm going to clear this thing off. Already done some of the math here. But what we've got here is, let's start on this year right here, $149,000. They think it's worth $149,000, and I'm getting taxed on $149,000. Now the next year, I'm going to get taxed on $155,000. Well, they think it's worth $155,000. So the only reason why that's true is because it didn't increase more than 10%. So let me show you the math on that. If I take $149,000 and I increase by 10%, then that gives me $163,900. Now, what this means is, as long as they think my house did not go up above $163,900, then it stayed below the cap. That $163,900, that's the cap for 2018. Okay, as long as I stayed below that number, then my appraised value and my market value are going to increase at the same rate. Now, let's say if it would have hit that cap, then boom, appraised value would have stopped right here and market value would have kept going up. Okay, so let's see what happens the next year. The next year, we've got $155,000 is what they think it's worth, and I'm getting taxed on $155,000. So I'm going to put it in here, say $155,000, and then now we're going to increase 10% from this times 1.1, 110%. So now the capped value is $170,500. Okay, so here it is. They think it's worth $186,171. Okay, so let's back up for a second. Last year was $155,000. So the cap is $170,500. So what happens is they think it's worth $186,171. So as they say, they think it's worth $186,171. Well, now this value, bink, it gets capped at $170,500, but this one goes up to $186,171. So I'm gonna get taxed on this number because that's what the math formula says I should get taxed on, because that's the protection that I'm getting. However, they think it's worth this number. Okay. Now, the reason why you get to protest what they think this number is and not what this number is because this is an opinion. This was not an opinion. This is a math formula. That math formula doesn't change. You cannot contest it. You can't change that formula. It's there for your protection. I wish it was a little bit lower, quite frankly, but it's there. Now, if we can protest this value below that capped value, then they'll start decreasing at the same rate, and then they'll be even again, okay? But as long, let's say if I've got 186, and if I just protest it down to 185 or 180 or 175, then this number is going to stay higher than this number. But if I get it down to 169, bink, there they go. They're going to be even, and they're going to start decreasing at the same rate. I hope that makes sense. That's really the explanation. The word appraised is just a poorly chosen term. If they would have chosen a different term, then we would clear up all the confusion. But this is the number that's their opinion that they think it's worth. And so we have the ability. The only way it's fair, it would be totally unfair if they taxed us on their opinion of value, because it's their opinion, without giving us the opportunity to express our opinion, okay? But they do give us that opportunity to express our opinion. We express that opinion through protesting. We hash it out through the protest, and then we all agree. Well, we at least a three-party panel will help come up with what's supposed to be a fair conclusion. We all know how that goes, but that is the difference between market value and appraised value. If you need anything, if I can help you, if you have any other questions, just let me know. It's been an absolute pleasure serving you. Have a great day.